All right, and welcome to Conversations with Carla. I am Carla Sean, intuitive healer and life transformational coach. And today I have Linda Bedrosian. Did I get it?
Yep, you got it.
All right, here today. And she's an amazing healer. And she has a really cool technique. She has a lot of techniques, actually. But the purpose of today is to help you if you have chronic illness or if you know someone who does, of how you can actually eliminate them without meds.
Yes, and that is it's sometimes usually a really surprising thing to people because what do we know in the United States? You go to a physician and he prescribes you a medication.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and one of the things that I like to tell my clients is that don't stop anything, continue on, but we can get you off of those medicines, whether they're, stuff for your allergies, stuff for your diabetes, your pain medicines, all of that. So we can get rid of all of that so you can live a really healthy, happy life.
That sounds amazing. So before we go too in depth with this, because I already have like 100 questions coming up, tell people who you are, and maybe a little bit, take a few minutes of your journey, of your path, and also we'll post something where they could find you, and then we'll get into some great questions.
Okay, great. Well, to give you some background, I was an intensive care nurse for a long time, 35 plus years. And then I also have a background in oncology. So I have a real wide, diverse knowledge of the body, how it works, what it should do, what it shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I take that and I apply it to my practice now. And my practice is a holistic view of the world rather than just write a prescription for you or say, take this supplement. Because if the body is truly balanced and getting all that it needs, it is an amazing body of work that we have. It will keep on giving you all the things that you need and heal yourself. So that is what my practice is all about. I take, Carla mentioned that I have a lot of tools in my toolbox, and everybody is unique. I don't just go from a template and say, okay, X, Y, and Z. I really dive into your background and see what tools you do need, and then go about getting you healthy. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So someone did just join us. Hello, Candace. You are our only guest at this moment. I'm expecting to have a few more, but let us know, if you're suffering, if there's something, why you logged on to this particular blab, because I'm going to be asking Linda a series of questions just to help get this word out there and highlight her brilliance. But we also, for these blabs, we really want to make them really personal for the people who show up live. And if you have any questions, or if you're suffering, and if you would like to, you could actually hop on in a little bit, and Linda could talk to you specifically, and maybe we could even do some energy work on you. So, let us know in the chat. So Linda, so we'll continue until we get some feedback. But so 35 years in the medical industry here in the States.
Yeah.
I mean, as a healer and someone who's so sensitive, like, how was that for you?
Conflicting. It was.
Yeah.
I used my healing ability as much as I could as a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Working in intensive care, there's a lot of death that goes on, and so I used that healing abilities to heal people so that they could go on to the next part of their journey. And then also I used my intuition and healing to kind of tweak somebody's what they really needed. And I did a lot of out of the box thinking, but it really did it wore on me because it was not really what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, when you do something, it pays the bills really well. Like I got to do a lot of amazing travel, I do a lot of amazing things, but you give up a part of yourself when you do that. At least that was what it was for me. And I found this body of work about 6 years ago, and it was like, really, you can do this? It's like I've been looking for this because I myself had Epstein-Barr and had chronic fatigue, and I took really good care of myself. I watched what I ate. I watched the amount of stress that I had. But if anybody knows about chronic fatigue and Epstein-Barr, they just kind of waits and waits in the background until you're not really behaving yourself. And, you know, I'm human. Come on. And when I didn't really behave myself 100% of the time,
Yeah.
my chronic fatigue came out and bit me in my butt, and I would be in bed. And it was like, oh God. Blah. So,
and that, I mean, it's so frustrating, right? Like, I don't know if I ever had chronic fatigue, but I definitely had something going on in the background.
mm-hmm.
And I know, you know, a lot of people who do, and it's like going to the grocery store and then be down for hours or even days.
Exactly. And you're just thinking, all I did was get in my car, go 3 miles, go for a half hour, and that's all I can do.
And so much shame, at least for me, but like shame and guilt, right? Like, especially in a partnership of like, you know,
I should be doing this. I should be up. I should, you know, God, how long are they going to put up with this?
Exactly.
You know, and then, you know, I love what the people would say. Oh, just rest a little bit. You're fine.
Exactly.
And it's like, I did rest. You know, I do everything. Do everything that I can. So I found this. I got rid of my Epstein-Barr, which was causing the chronic fatigue. And now, if I don't behave myself, I mean, I still eat well, and I still, you know, watch the stress. But if I don't eat well, like this holiday time, right? There's extra goodies and there's extra stuff that I don't normally eat. But I can have that without going, oh my God, I'm going to die and be in bed for, you know, a week or two. So I it's like, yay.
So what I hear is like this has been your hero's journey, if you will, like this shit works and it worked for you. And so now you want to go and share it with everybody.
Oh, I do. I want to stand at the rooftops or even the mountaintops and go, this shit works. No
or on labs.
Yeah. Or Twitter. You know, however it gets out there, my clients go, oh God, I love you. And, you know, I want to tell everybody about this amazing stuff because, you know, a lot of times they come to me and they go, like me, really, this works? And it's like, it really does. And once they get a treatment or two under their belt and start feeling better, you know, then what opens up is like, oh, there's a possibility. I had one client just say to me, you cannot believe what it means to me to know there's a possibility that I can actually get better. And it's like, And she's like, I'm so looking forward and thankful to that. And it's like, woo. And then another client that I have, she's been seeing me like about a month maybe. And just the transformational change that she's had. I feel like a mom sometimes. It's like, oh, look at you. You're just like glowing and just like this wonderful flower opening up. And she's like, I know. This is so good. This is so good.
Well, one thing that we had someone else join, welcome Lori. And if you're suffering with any sort of, you know, chronic illness or anything health-wise, let us know in the chat. This is being recorded, so welcome. Okay, great. People are starting to join us. So this is Linda, who's an amazing healer. She has had 35 years of working as a intensive care nurse. Thank you. And so she knows the human body really well, and then she also knows the energetic world really well. And we're just now getting into how these two have join together. The one thing that I just want to sort of mirror back of what you said when you said you feel like a mom, and your energy is like the mom energy, like the mom we all wish we had. It's like,
Yeah.
like at least how I feel around you is like I could share anything with you how I'm feeling, and you're just like, oh, well, let's get that better, as opposed to like any judgment. Yeah, like I don't feel any judgment from you, and I think this is one reason why you do get some great results because being an intuitive healer myself, I know the clients that get the best results are the ones who are open and willing to be vulnerable, to dig and to have it healed.
Yeah, exactly.
And but that's also part of the practitioner's job of creating that space, and I think you do that really well.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. I think it's twofold to that. Not only is it my job to create a space for my clients so that they can step into that, and everybody takes their journey at a different time. So if I can share a story with you. I was at a network meeting, and we were talking about this particular healer that is just and a modality that she uses. And she met her about 8 years ago, had a treatment, was amazing. And in her conversation, she says, yeah, she's been seeing her like 6 months or so. And it was like, wait a minute, you saw her 8 years ago, but you just now, it's like, how come you didn't do it way back then?
Right.
Like, because I didn't think I deserved it. And she said, it took me this long to get to the point where, damn it, I'm putting the stake in the ground and I'm going, once a week, because she does go once a week to see her, and I deserve it. And it was like, oh, hallelujah.
Yeah.
So not only do you have to, put that stake in the ground, or, a little bit, I'll get you the rest of the way, which is really nice.
Absolutely. And I think, that deserving aspect, so many areas in our life, right? Love, sex, money, health, like it's all the same. It's like we have a thermostat of what we, subconsciously, that deserving, and everything sort of goes through that. And it's when we could clear that, then that's where a lot of growth happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the other thing that I just wanted to say is, because I did holistic wellness coaching for a while, and I also have a really big background in health and wellness, and a phrase that I had to say to myself when I was going through my health journey is like, I didn't get this way overnight.
Yeah.
Even though healing can happen instantly, sometimes the muscle memory, sometimes like it takes a little bit longer than than taking a pill.
Yeah, the physical body, we can heal ourselves up here in our consciousness, like that. But sometimes if your physical body has been worn down or been sick for a while, it just takes a while for it to catch up. And my work is incredible and works really fast, but it still takes a bit. So if you've been, like I had chronic fatigue and Epstein-Barr and a few other things that went along with that. And it took me a good 6 months, because Epstein-Barr is a little booger to get rid of. And it took me that long to finally, I had other viruses too, not just him. And they linked up together, and they just had a happy little time. And they just didn't want to leave, because I fed it, I clothed it, I bathed it, I put a roof over its head. Why did it want to leave? And so I was determined enough and niggled him enough. He's like, okay, fine, I'll go someplace else. You're just annoying as hell, and I'll just leave you and go find somebody else. And it's like, yay! But it didn't happen overnight.
And 6 months is almost overnight. I mean, to me, when it comes to healing something that could plague you for your eternity in this body on this planet, if you don't deal with it, right. So, okay, great. So let's talk a little bit more, but first let me just mention the people who are watching this live. Thank you so much for being here. And please, if you have any questions, /Q and then a space, and you could ask Linda or myself some questions. And we would really love to make this, thank you, a interactive blab. So, all right. Several chronic illnesses. Trouble staying connected. So, I see you keep hopping on and off. Okay, so if I can't stay on, I'll catch the replay. Awesome, great. Do you want to see if you're on now? Do you want to? I usually do this at the end, but do you want to see if you could hop on, call in now, and maybe Linda, if you want to, that is, and we could have a conversation of what's going on with you, and this way. You could actually experience a little bit of what Linda does instead of just Linda talking about it. Because that's why I think Blab is so great, is you could actually have an experience.
Yeah.
So
feel up to it. Love to talk to you.
Yeah. Oh, she keeps hopping off, or he.
Yeah.
I can't see. That's too bad. Okay. So we'll do some talking until someone wants to hop on, or maybe I'll be a guinea pig. Because what I like about Blab and the work that you do, it's so. We talk about energy, and it's really challenging to. We do our best to articulate it, but when you're actually working with someone, I think it's a little bit easier to recognize of what is actually happening, and then you could describe it behind the scenes. But but we'll just keep chatting until that opportunity presents itself.
Okay.
So let's just go play by play. So someone comes to you. Okay. Let's say, like I've been tired, or, like bags under the eyes, which is something that I've been struggling with for a while. And, just like feeling wonky, like where do you go when someone just is, comes to you with symptoms like that?
Symptoms are great. Symptoms usually are the end of what is happening to you. Usually if you have symptoms, whether you have bags under your eyes or lack of concentration, are never the point of where something's really going on, because it takes time, and over time it will go down to symptoms, to like, I've got bags under my eyes. Well, I ask a really long, detailed history about all sorts of things. And we really dig into like your past, and we've worked a little bit together. Do you mind if I take you as an example?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Just, you were telling me about the mold in your house, and that is really, really typical of what a lot of people have in their body. And then the symptoms are different for everybody. And so some symptoms of people who have mold look like fibromyalgia, really poor concentration. Depends where the mold settles. If it's in the joints, they have really bad joint pain. If it's in the brain, then you can't really think. So I'll ask those series of questions, and then what I do, and I can work with somebody in my office, or I can work with them remotely. So
that's huge.
Yeah. So it's like I have clients all over the world, and we can either work on the phone or Skype. And I have test kits for just about everything you want to think. And so I have a basic test kit, and I test where we need to go to first, because it's like looking at a layer of onion. And say you have the mold, but it's down here, but you have 3 things before we can get to the mold. So you can't directly go to the mold because these things are like, woohoo. So in the way. Got it. So we take care of those 3 things. They might be allergies to food or to environmental stuff. And they might be even allergies to the mold that you have.
Right. That's funny, right? Like the allergy to that. Yeah.
allergy. It's like, really? I can? So if you don't take care of the allergies to the mold first, it doesn't care whether I treat you until the cows come home. It's just not going to work. And so we take care of the allergies. If you have allergies to food stuff, we'll take care of that. It might be you have some heavy metals or chemical exposures, and we'll take care of that. And then we look at the mold and we take care, and you might have some different types of mold. And it may be that we can take care of it all at once or one at a time, and we take care of that. And and I don't get rid of it. I just niggle it. So it's like, oh, really? You're not going to let me sleep until noon. You're not feeding me like I said. So what it does, it finally gets, annoyed enough so that your body will eliminate it. And so your elimination organs have to be all turning in the right direction. And so there's support that's going on at the same time as I'm niggling those guys to get out, and making sure your kidneys, your liver, your skin, your lungs, all working in the proper and the right direction. And eventually those guys go, fine. We'll go live someplace else. And then
yeah. And the one thing that I want to say, like what I heard, it's like there are series and steps because of the layers,
right?
And so it does take some time, like we mentioned, 6 months, 3 months, a year, 7 years. Like it all depends on so many factors, right? Like what they have coming in, their mindset, their willingness. Like there's so many variables,
right? Mm-hmm.
And even after step one, the moment you start to feel a little bit relief, it's like you have some relief.
Right.
It's not like you have to wait to the end to have any relief.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Yeah. No, it's like, if you have the bags under your eyes or that brain fog, you have probably different degrees of it. And some days are more foggier than others.
Right.
And that's really true for a lot of people. Well, if they wake up one morning and they go, oh my God, the colors are different.
Yes.
I feel, the air on my skin doesn't bother me anymore. Oh my God. So those things you start to notice, and more as you get rid of whatever is in your body, then, all of a sudden you can hear better, you can see better, your skin's better, things taste differently, you make different choices. You start getting up in the morning and rather going, oh God, another day, you get up and go, hey, I'm getting up. I have something really to look forward to other than, this pain and suffering that I've been going through.
Yeah. And so what just came to me is like, there's people who have like, and I'm going to throw terminologies, even though I don't like to put people in box, but they do in the society, but like ADHD or depression, depressed energy, and all of this is on a spectrum, of course, and autism. And in your practice, what have you seen by clearing up these allergies or clearing up the viruses that are in the body, that people who had those symptoms or those classifications have altered?
Well, I'm sure my client won't mind. And the one that's I've only seen for a month, she had, I'm not going to name her, but she
of course.
she has a drinking problem, and that's how she copes. And I don't care,
Yeah.
But and it's interfered with her life. And so in the month's time, she still drinks, but she says, you know what? I don't head, this weekend, or last weekend, she said, when I thought about it to go with these friends that normally drink, I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, what did you do instead? She said, well, we put out a strategy for her. She likes to do 3 or 4 different things other than meeting with these particular friends and drinking. And so some are meetups, some are group efforts. She loves to sew.
Yeah.
So I said, how did that go? And she says, it was so much fun. And she says, and nobody was drinking and nobody was stupid. And the best part, she said, I woke up the next day, I had all of this energy, my nose wasn't stuffed, I felt more calm. When I went to my family who has issues of drinking, she said, I didn't interact with them like I normally did most of the time. So that didn't trigger me. She says, this is just so nice not to do that. So it was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's sort of my, like, why I asked that question is like, we come to you,
Mhm.
right, because we're having these symptoms, but like some of our personalities are actually a symptom of an allergy that's happening inside of us.
Right. It's like she has, she's got some viruses, she's got some parasites, she's got some bacteria, she's got some chemical exposures, which we all do. I mean,
Yeah.
who here has used Roundup to kill their weeds? You know, and who has been in a room that's ordered new furniture that has formaldehyde?
Right.
Who here drinks decaffeinated coffee? You know how much decaffeinated coffee is decaffeinated with formaldehyde.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, all of this stuff is in your body, affecting your brain, affecting your joints, you know, triggering this, triggering that. Getting rid of that, you know, brings your energy. I mean, she was off the chart. She would be going like this as she hit the door. Sit down. I'm thinking, yay, yay, yay. So let's see if we can calm this down a little bit, get rid of some of these toxins that are flying around in your body, and see, you know, see what shows up next. And so now what is showing up are some of the viruses and bacteria that are causing other issues with like her weight gain,
Mm-hmm.
you know, her stuffy nose and things like that. So I'm really, really excited. It's just like to see that the change in her in just such a short period of time is like, wow, this is.
I mean, we are blessed, like to be in the profession of healing and coaching and guiding, to see transformations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't think there's anything a better. I mean, obviously I don't, or I would be doing it. But I think, you know, like this is the best thing, you know, since
it is
sliced gluten-free bread.
No, it is like, you know, it is. It's like I just sat across from her going, oh my God, it's only been a month and you are so different. She's like, I know, you know, and she was on the verge of, because of her behaviors, she was really worried about, she has a brand new job and she was worried about whether or not they would keep her, because in her past she would, you know, do something silly like go out and get.
Oh, can't hear you. Do your earbud thing again.
How's that?
Okay, there we go. There you're back. So sorry. So yeah. So happy about the client.
Yeah, she's. You know, I said, how's her training? How's her 3-month probation? She's like, I'm looking forward to it. The training's going well. I'm thinking about what I could do next within the company, you know, where I could, you know, grow. She's like, it's so wonderful, so exciting.
We have a couple of questions, so I want to talk about that, and then so I got a little sidetracked. So the Candace, I think I'm saying that right. I definitely I'm 40, so I'm now realizing I actually might have to need glasses when I look. I'm like doing that thing that old people do. Yeah.
Shut up. I got
So does decaffeinated tea have formaldehyde also?
Yes, it does. You can get coffee and teas that are decaffeinated that use a process that uses water, and it's a much slower process, and it's a more expensive process. And so many teas and coffees don't do it that way. So they use, you know, something that's fast and quick and economical because, you know, we demand it.
Yeah.
And, but there are teas and coffee that the organic teas and coffee that you get, if they use any type of chemicals or anything, they cannot be deemed organic or state that on their on their package. So look for those kinds of things.
Yeah. And also to that point, I actually opened up a tea house and coffee house in Santa Cruz. I used to be a restaurant consultant. Yeah. So there's lots of techniques out there. You do have to do your work, your searching. And the thing with the organic, also remember, like, it only has to be 80% organic to be called organic. And so that's where, like, the research really goes in, and like figuring out what companies, and unfortunately it is, usually the ones that do cost more. That's not always the case, but it usually is, a good, good way of, like, oh, that's more expensive, and if there's a good name behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So forgot to do this.
Oh,
there we go. Okay. So yes. We just answered that question, and now I actually posted this question. Michael asked this question, and so I just did it where we could comment on it. So I have a couple questions on that. This is a great question. So one, what do you feel about let's answer his about the detoxing from it.
Okay.
And how do you, because I know we shouldn't really always talk about the how, but, like, do you wave a magic wand? Like, I know we both do some fancy, weird ass healing techniques.
Yeah.
So how do you help your people detox? I know from my perspective, but what all do you do? And then talk to that. And if you could answer that as you're answering the marijuana question, I think would be great.
Okay. So did you say Michael asked this question?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would ask Michael, a couple different things. Is it medical marijuana? Why do you take it? And why do you want to detox from it? I mean, that sounds like a silly question, but
your question sounds like a silly question.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Why wouldn't I want to? Well, you have to want it. You have to be ready, and so if you are, then what it would look like is if you're medicating yourself for anxiety or depression, or if it's medical marijuana and you're doing it for pain, then we look for those reasons. And while I'm detoxing you from the marijuana, we're also working on the emotional component of why you need it. And also people become, they need it. It's like my client who drinks, she needs that. She needs that structure to help reduce her anxiety. And until she can find a healthy alternative, she's going to need that. So that's what we look for. And then in the marijuana, I'll look at a couple different things. Are you allergic to the marijuana also? Do you have an allergy? And then does the allergy, getting rid of the allergy first, does that come first or last? And then the actual marijuana itself. And so if there's a certain brand that you, because there's certain types, or if it's just a generalized marijuana, then we take the generalized marijuana, and then what I do is I put you through a series of steps, and we actually, and it takes the marijuana out of your body, and it doesn't take it out of your body. And it actually will everything you do, everything in your body, all your cells in your body, whether it is a virus or your liver cell talking to your liver cells or your brain, they communicate by the way of light. That's their energy. Mm-hmm. And so everybody, the marijuana, the bacteria, all of these guys communicate through light. And what I do is I use bioresonance, and it interrupts that energy pattern of the marijuana, so that it no longer is comfortable chatting in your body. And so what it does is, and I don't know where marijuana is eliminated from, if it's the liver or kidneys, but wherever it gets eliminated, it will be pulled from where it's stored. It's stored in the fat, in the bones, and your organs, and it pulls it from those areas, and it goes through the elimination organ, and then you yourself get rid of it. And then I'll test to see at different stages how much we have to go, and then at when you're cleared up, and then on the emotional side too, we want to make sure that we find a nice good balance. We want to make sure that you're not going to go back to use the marijuana, because I can help you get rid of it. But if you're just going to go, if you haven't found the reason why you use it, then you're just going to go right back to it, right?
Absolutely. While we're talking here, I want to make sure that we get your offer, because you're so funny. My computer doesn't really like to have this. So, so this link that I'm posting, and then I want to come back and because Michael did answer some of the questions, so I want to come back to him. But the link that I just posted, the Lead Pages key, the one with the blue screen or the blue photo. What is that for people, just so they know? What are you offering for them?
Well, what I'm offering is a one-on-one time, and it goes for a couple hours. And what we do is we discover what things are lurking in your body that are causing the symptoms. What things are causing your joint pain? What things are causing your depression? What things are they viruses? Are they bacteria? Are they parasites? Big thing with a lot of people. People think parasites only exist in third world countries. No, they're really, really, really huge because of just the change of our society and how we eat and different things. So those are the three common things that are found. And you sit with me, we discover what they are, we put our heads together, and I can give you a couple different avenues that you can work. Say, no, I don't want to work with you, just give me, data. And I was like, okay, I can give you, X, Y, and Z, and this is how it'll work. This is why it'll work. This is how long it'll work. Or you can work with me. And so
great.
That's what that is.
So it's like a in-depth consultation where you're kind of like a health detective. Basically, is what a health detective session.
And you really find out what's going on with you. And sometimes people pay thousands and thousands of dollars without really finding out what's wrong with them, and they're still left scratching their head.
That's right. Great. And I think you said like a 197, because it's typically, I think, like a couple grand, right? Or 997 to
$997. And then for today, it's 197. Yeah. So it's a great deal. Sit down with me for a couple hours to see where you need to head to next.
Yeah, great. So I just wanted to make sure that Linda got a chance to share people, because I know people who are watching this or the replay, like, how can I get a hold of Linda? Like, this is how, and go check her out. And her website, let me throw that on there, is your next step in health.
Yep. .com.
.com. Thank you. Sometimes my tongue gets wrapped around itself. Okay. So on the marijuana topic, so Michael said like he uses, was it all kinds? I think that's what he said.
Okay.
And he's been using it long term, every day ever since he was a tween.
Okay.
And so for about 10 years or so.
Mm-hmm. So my question to him would be, and I want you to know, when we sit down, everything that you say is confidential.
Yeah.
And so my questions to him would be, 10 years, how long, why do you still do it? What do you think, your patterns of behaviors have led you to this state and kept you here? And, the different kinds, and all different kinds doesn't matter. I think, it's easy to, I want to say it's probably an easier process to detox you from the marijuana than it is to actually let go. I don't want to say it's like, oh my God, it's so hard. No, it's just going to be challenging because you want to find out, because now it's really great that you're, asking these questions like, oh, maybe this is not the best thing for me. And what different things can we look at and you can do? And why do you, like, for example, do you use it when, you've had like a really fucking day at work and you hate your boss and
Right.
it's like, well,
To use
why?
it to escape an emotion.
Right. And so
Mhm. Right.
why do you do this? Is it
Totally.
hard for you to, tell your boss to like, or it's hard for you to, you know, say how you really feel or what you really need. And
Right.
so, like Carla was mentioning, in our bag of tricks, we have some really, really great tools that removes all of that. So you can get down to like, oh, that's why I do that. And then you can start making from a conscious choice rather than reaching for your addictive
Yeah.
pattern, whatever it is, because there's people that work, people that drink, people that shop, people that have sex, people that gamble, people that steal. They're all addictions.
Do
And
Netflix marathons.
I do. If I get bored, it's like, poor me. Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. Go through a whole season.
Oh, of course. Like,
Yeah.
why would you not?
Right. Yeah.
The one thing that I want to touch on something that we've sort of like discussed, but didn't go into, that may be an aha moment for some people, and it's and I would love your perspective on it, both from a health practitioner place and a wonderful intuitive healer. Thanks, Michael, for all the props. I'm so happy that you're here with us. So it won't stop. That's funny. That's okay. The universe is giving me props. I'll take it. Maybe did you move your cursor? I don't know. I don't care. We're just gonna let it go. So why do we do things that or gravitate towards things that we're allergic to? So I know when I've worked with clearing like certain foods up, I realized the food that I was eating a lot of, my body was actually allergic to.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so
Right.
the same, like you mentioned, well, let's check to see if you have an allergy to marijuana. Right. And so it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, why would I do it if I'm allergic to it?
Yeah. Doesn't make sense, does it?
That's right. So
But
can you speak to that?
so it's kind of like if you take a look at a glass and whatever you are allergic to, and here's your allergies and here's your glass, and then all of a sudden you don't eat, drink, whatever, and it starts going lower, lower. Here's one of the
Uh-huh.
reasons. And it gets to here, like your threshold, and your body has been so conditioned. It's so automatic that it goes, oh God, we need, oh my God, we're going to feel anxious or we're going to feel that feeling again. We're going to feel, so go get that thing, will you? So that you can say, oh, I'm just such a fuck up. I can't believe I ate that whole chocolate cake, rather than here, oh God, I really, want to strangle my mother because she was just such a fucking asshole. Can't stand her, but God, that's not a polite thing to do, right? Because
Right.
now you're, 30 or 40 years old and she's kind of a nice person. And it's like, So you can't, we're not allowed to express that. So we reach for other things. That's one thing. And then the automatic loop, like I was saying, is that we work on our whole immune system works on a feedback loop. And when we don't have particular substance, our body will go into overdrive to try to fix it, to try to find it. It's like, oh, this link is like I need something here. So we'll go find that thing that our body is telling us that we need, but
Yeah.
you really don't. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it makes sense, but it also is just weird, right? In a way.
It is. It is. It's like you can have a lot of this stuff stored in your tissues and in your adipose tissues and your bones, but you can also be very allergic to it. So
Yeah.
crazy,
Which,
crazy.
which, those symptoms, right? Like you think you're allergic to cats, but it's actually something else. It just like it's triggering that thing inside of you. And I think, the work that you do, like Health Detective is like the perfect, Michael's a branding expert. He's actually helping me rebrand. So I could see him doing a thing for you where it's like Health Detective Linda, with the
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes, with the magic wand though, because like
Yeah, yeah.
crystal ball and
Yep.
stuff. So,
Mhm.
anyway, okay, great. So you
Oh, fun. Yay.
help. Hello, Kevin. Um, so. Okay, another question about eliminating these things. So, is it true that usually the things, so we have allergies, and then you also brought up like viruses.
Mhm.
So, do you want to speak a little bit? Because I know there's also like genetics, right? And now science, science is so fun. It catches up to what healers have known forever.
Ever. I know.
So it's like, our great 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 grandparents like affect like their genes affect us
Right,
of like
right.
our beliefs and all of that, right? Like
Yeah,
like we know that like as healers, but science is finally coming out with this. So it's like
wow.
great. So
Well,
how does that like when you do your work, um, where do you see the genetics and epigenetics and all that come into play, and even the emotional stuff?
okay. Well, I'll give you an example like ADD, ADHD.
Mhm.
A lot of with my body of work, if somebody has, and if you come to become my client, then I automatically will test you for that because a good percent of the population um, has, let's see, let me step back here. ADA, ADD, ADHD is thought to have been the TB virus, the
Yeah.
tuberculosis virus.
Hmm.
So somebody in your line, either on your mother or father's side, had TB, survived it, and then reproduced and brought children. And so now through the years, instead of looking like TB and dying from it and having to take the medicines to get rid of TB. Now, what it looks like is ADD, ADHD, um, you know, concentration, forgetfulness. And so that has followed your lineage and now shows up as ADD, ADHD. Same as allergies, same as also bacteria and viruses. They can, not be completed and follow and look like something entirely different when
Hmm.
instead of what they've been treated for. And so the great thing about my work is that I can find it, and it doesn't matter if it was a generation ago or now. What the great thing is that, oh great, we found it. Here's the
Let's let
step. Let's get rid of it. Let's
Yeah,
make it really uncomfortable so it doesn't say, oh God, really, I'm
yeah.
staying here, and say, okay, let's get rid of this and let it move on to whoever it needs to move on to. And then the symptoms, like for me, for example, when I started this work, I wouldn't consider myself having ADD, ADHD, but the TB, and when they mutate themselves, they're called miasms. And so that it showed up in me, and it was like, really? I don't know, right? So we got rid of it. And so what I noticed from that is that I don't have a hard time concentrating. I don't have a hard time going from point A to point D. I'm not like, a Jack Russell going, you know, ball. But what I noticed is there was like a little buzzing in my brain.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. It was like, oh, so that's what the TB myosin caused for me. And about 80% of the population has the TB myosin. So there's a whole variety of symptoms that you're going to have, from my little brain buzz to being, not being able to concentrate or having word finding difficulties. And it has nothing to do with your age.
Right.
Does that answer that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it answered it and more. And, Michael is just totally like holy cow, holy crow, as my friend Janet would say. But like he has that. They say that that he has the virus, but it's deactivated. So let's talk about that too, because that brings up a really good point. And we have about 10 minutes to 3 o'clock. So I just want to acknowledge that we'll be wrapping up soon. And Michael, like you're literally the only guest on here. So if you want to hop on in a minute, just let us know, either on the record or off the record. And we could have a conversation with you person to person besides texting. But so, because you mentioned, Linda, like, the things that hide behind the scenes, right? And, I know like Lyme is another huge disruption of the force that is so challenging in Western medicine to eradicate, right? And so like these things that are like deactivated or are just like hanging out, but obviously creating disharmony, even just hanging out, like, how do you find them and what happens when they're like deactivated? Like, can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. I'll give you my example with the Epstein-Barr virus. It was not active 100% of the time in my body. What viruses like to do is they like to hide, but they're still taking vital energy from you. They're still taking nutrients from you. They're still replicating. They're still in there. And so when my immune system was not up to snuff where it would be, viruses come out and they go, whoopee, we can now have a party because your immune system will not get us because we're, your immune system is punk right now. So we're going to go have a party. That's why you get cold sores. That's why, my Epstein-Barr virus came out. That's why a lot of viruses like chicken pox that comes to shingles. Not everybody has shingles 100% of the time. It's when your immune system or something stressful happens or something happens that the gets activated. And so then you're trying to catch up. You're trying to catch up. Oh my God, take this antiviral. And so the antivirals don't ever get rid of the virus. They just suppress it.
Oh,
and
interesting.
What happens is that the virus, even though it's suppressed and maybe not causing much symptoms, but they're still, so if you want 100% of all your sleep, the food that you take in, everything that you do good for your body to go for your body, but really a percentage of that is going to the viruses, the bacteria, the parasites, then they're taking up your vital energy. They're taking up your vital forces. So that's what it does. So at the end of your, of your life, instead of living healthy, clean, clear-headed, getting up, going for a run, you're now going, God, get off the couch, because now instead of 100% of that energy being utilized for me, 50% of it is being utilized for all of this stuff that's in our body.
And then how do you find that? And how do you I heard you say earlier, and we just had someone hop on who didn't hear you at the beginning, but like essentially it's like you clear a lot of like the gunk up so your body could heal itself, right? Because our body's freaking amazing and it's always looking to find balance. It just got its thermostat a little bit off, right? And what that means. And so, so how do you find the ones that are hanging out behind the scenes, disrupting the force without us even knowing it?
Well, they have an energetic field.
Okay.
They're always on. They
Yeah.
always have their little light on, like Motel 6. So like I said, I have a bunch of test kits, right? And
Yeah.
so anytime they can be like not active, but they still have their little light on, and so they're still illuminated, and they show up. The test kit goes, oh, I'm here, I'm
Got
here,
it.
I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, and I'm here.
Yep. And
So
then you just deactivate them like energetically and otherwise, right? Like, because I'm assuming, I'm just sort of projecting this, but that your clients also could have some certain homework, like in terms of what can they do, because there's things we could do on the emotional realm and there's things energetic realm, but then we also have the physical realm. Like you mentioned, like you like to eat, like to support your body as much as possible. Like don't go eat a whole bag of Oreos today, maybe.
if you want, but not usually a good idea.
Right.
If I work with people where they're at, and and I want to make sure that you want to get on the same page. You don't necessarily have to be on the same page, but eating healthy, and what that looks like is eating as much organic stuff as you possibly can, because a lot of GMOs, and there's a whole lot of education. At being a nurse for such a long time, you're always educating. There's a whole lot of educating of why you want to do this versus why not. And I'll lay it out, and you can experience what it feels like. Like I have one client who loves sugar, and it's taken him a year to finally go, oh, this is probably not really good for me. And so we've devised a plan. So he would have so many sugar-free days and so many dairy, because he's very allergic to dairy. And he's getting to experience what the sugar does to him and what the dairy does to him. And now he's beginning to choose, like, oh, this is not very good for me. I am dumb, and I have, my asthma kicks in, and I can't sleep at night, and then I snore, and I have to use my CPAP machine. So perhaps I won't have a dairy day today. I don't want to do all that. And so he actually gets to experience that. So, eat as well as you can, eat as organic as possible. If you need to lose weight, I can help you with that on different avenues. You need to drink fresh, pure water, and up to a couple liters, 2-3 liters a day. And people like, oh my God, I'll be in the bathroom all the time. And it's like, so no, not really. But
yeah, I mean, at the beginning, but your body does balance out. Like that's the thing. Yeah.
And then sleep is really, really important, because there's a lot of education of like, well, okay, and here's a question: who do you sleep with? Do you sleep with this guy?
Right, exactly.
You take him to bed and use him as alarm. Oh no, it's not a very good idea. And I tell you the reasons why. You can do that, but I will tell you the reasons why, and then we'll have no sleepy days, no sleepovers. This is like in the kitchen, and then
exactly.
Like, oh, I did sleep better. No, I didn't wake up with a headache. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Which is great. I mean, and that's the thing too. Just to sort of normalize it all and bring it back, to, I don't know, allowing people to see, like, and we all do it. It's like we get in our patterns, and we make, a lot of our strategies were developed out of necessity, even though we didn't know we were creating a strategy at the time. And then that strategy became a habit.
Right.
And then this is how it develops. And that's where like a coach, a healer, a practitioner comes into play, where we can hold up the mirror and help you, with the detective. And just, I think that I really love to, like, the analogy. Oh, Michael went away. I was going to just pull him on here, but, there, and he's back. Perfect. But like the dots, like connecting the dots. Right. And so it's like, it's almost doing it backwards. Like, here's the picture of your life. Now, if we take away this part, like take away the phone from the bed, how do you feel? Take away the sugar, how do you feel? And then you get to redraw your life.
Redraw instead of this like looking like this.
That's
you know,
right.
you have a beautiful picture of
That's
what
right.
total health and wholeness feels like, and you go, oh, this is what this feels like. Oh.
Yeah, and the step by step, it's not so challenging, you know, because the thing, what I love about your work is like you help take away that layer of ick and fog. Then the next step, the like making lifestyle changes, don't feel so heavy because that weight is lifted. But if that weight is there and you just go to a typical practitioner and they tell you to make these changes, you're like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard that is? I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, but when we remove this energetic level and then you like getting in there with the viruses and doing that, like that's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. Yeah. It's like,
so
wow. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say we're on the hour.
Okay.
And so I just, people could find you at yournextstepinhealth.com.
Yep.
And again, it's Linda Bedrosian.
Yes. Ooh.
Did I do it without stuttering?
You did.
Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and do what's called like off the record. So I'm going to stop the recording and then we'll pull Michael in if he wants to have a chat with you, but that way it isn't recorded.
Okay. That sounds great.
Do you have any last, any tips or any suggestions or anything you want to share with the amazing audience before we call it a wrap?
You know, thank you for coming on your Saturday morning and really think about, I really deserve this. I really want a good, fabulous life. Whether you work with me or not, I'd love for you to work with me, honestly. But whether you choose me or not, you know, put that stake in the ground and start exploring because there is, it just awaits for you. And it's an amazing life.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Linda. It's an honor to have you on here and let's do it again. You know, maybe for the new year, you know, a lot of people will want to make changes. So, all right. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.
We'll call it a wrap.